There are so many of us who sit and recite the Quran with the mobile next to us. So we are reciting the Quran, we are doing zikr, we are listening to a bayan, we are engaged in deeni activity, but the focus is mobile. My friends, let us learn to switch off the mobile, let us learn to ignore the mobile at times. For example, when you go to sleep at night, then we need to learn to either switch off the mobile or ignore the mobile from the time we sleep until we wake up. Because it is the right of the body to sleep well. And if we sleep well, we will be able to concentrate more on the activities that we need to carry out the following day, whether worldly activities or religious activities. Let us learn to ignore the mobile whilst we are eating. Hakimul Ummah, Maulana Shaykh Ali Thanvi rahimahullah ta'ala, whilst eating, if he was asked a difficult question in regards to deen, he would refuse to answer. He would say that the mind should not be occupied in something else whilst eating, so that the food is consumed well and the food is digested well. A person should eat, it is from the etiquettes of eating that whilst eating, a person should remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person should eat with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if he does talk, then he should talk about deeni matters. But light conversation, not something heavy. Now we are eating, and sometimes we become engrossed in the telephone conversation so much that we do not even realize what we are eating and how much we are eating. When we are studying books, let us learn to ignore the mobile. Let us learn to switch off the mobile. There, we should allocate time for everything. When we are driving, we should not use the mobile. When we are sleeping, we should switch off the mobile or ignore the mobile. When in ibadat, we should ignore the mobile. When in deeni talks, we should ignore the mobile. When we are in the masjid, we should ignore the mobile. If we remain connected to the mobile, that means we remain connected to dunya, even when we should connect ourselves to deen and the hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the tawfiq. So let us learn to value each and every second of this life. I have said earlier that the clock is ticking away. Ho rahi hai umr, misle barf kam. The life is decreasing like the melting ice. Ho rahi hai umr, misle barf kam. If you take out ice from the freezer, then it begins to melt. You cannot stop it melting. We cannot stop our lives melting. So the life is melting just like the ice. Ho rahi hai umr misle barf kam. Chupke, quietly. When the ice melts, it doesn't make noise. So quietly, silently, the life is decreasing. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't make you feel that my life is passing. Ho rahi hai umr misle barf kam. Chupke. Quietly, rafta, slowly. Dam badam, breath by breath. Hazrat Shah Abdul Ghani Phulpuri rahmatullahi alayhi, he says that one day I left my house in the afternoon in scorching heat to go somewhere. In hot countries like India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, in May, June, July, August, especially June and July, you hardly see people leaving their homes in villages especially. In cities, life 24 hours, but in villages, It's very hot. And people don't need to go out, so they don't go out. Only out of necessity a person will leave. And here, when we go to the shop, when it is hot, we buy ice cream, we buy lollies. In India, in villages, in places where there are poor people, even in cities, a poor person will buy blocks of ice. He would buy 2 blocks of ice, 3 blocks of ice, 4 blocks of ice, depending on how much he is able to sell. So he knows that I will be able to sell 3 blocks of ice, 4 blocks of ice, and he would crush that block of ice, and he would put syrup on it, sprinkle syrup on it. So he would crush part of the block of ice, and he would make it into a bowl. And he would sprinkle syrup on it, and he would sell it like lolly. And people would suck the sweetness that is within the ice, and they would eat ice also. Now, a poor person, he will go to the place where the ice is sold, he will buy the ice, and he will stand from morning till afternoon, 3-4 o'clock, try to preserve the ice as much as possible by covering it with cloth, whatever. It is melting slowly, but at the same time he is selling as well. And if he does not get customers, then it just melts away. And when that ice melts, his money is gone. Because he goes in the morning with 500 rupees and he will buy the ice, and by the evening he will sell the ice balls, lollies that he will make himself for 700 rupees. So he will put the 500 rupees on one side, and he will buy food for his family with the 200 rupees, and the following evening again he will buy the ice with the 500 rupees. Now if the ice melts, that means his whole asset is gone. So if he is not able to make 700, 600 rupees, he must make 500 rupees, so he is able to buy the ice the following day. So Shah Abdul Ghani Phulpuri Rahmatullahi Alayhi says that once I left my home in the afternoon in scorching heat, and remotely people were going from one side to the other, and there was this man who was selling ice balls. And because it was very hot, people were not coming outside, and they were not buying from him. He was crying out in anguish, and he was saying, please, buy from me before this ice melts. Please buy from me before this ice melts. Please come and buy from me. He was beseeching people. Now other people could not reflect. But Shah Abdul Ghani Phulpuri Rahmatullahi Alayhi was a saintly person. He was connected to the Akhirat. He was from the people of Akhirat. So he said that I thought to myself that should all of us not be doing what he is doing? He is calling out in anguish that I must use this ice before it melts. So should not each of us be doing the same thing daily, that I should use my life before it melts? And make the life valuable just as he is trying to make the ice valuable.